and Trotsky was well aware of this, but nonetheless became uneasy. So in this fragment, bars are once again listed together with everyday activities and places in the city. And this hallucination becomes something that is feared but also respected. Mentions of death and the use of toxins ingested in order to reach an intoxicated state point to artists who are affected with a serious illness. Their self-destruction is an attempt to escape from the world around them, a world that stubbornly hangs on to its Soviet past, and perhaps equally appallingly, steadily adopts new hyper-materialistic values which conflict with the convictions and the vision of Ukraine maintained by these Ukrainian intellectuals. The suffering artist as a character had existed briefly in Ukrainian literature, most prominently in the early modernist prose of Kubilanska. Virtually non-existent in the Soviet period of Ukrainian literature, it has manifested itself as a new prototype of Ukrainian literature in post-Soviet art. The presentation of such characters is crucial in expressing the self-image of the Visimdesiatniki, of their marginalization and their alienated state within independent Ukraine. These three new images of the Ukrainian intellectual in Ukrainian literature appeared during a period in the country's history that was filled with great changes. With their protagonists and with their prose, the Visimdesiatniki captured the excitement and the confusion of the 1990s. The Visimdesiatniki chose to focus on the post-Soviet Ukrainian intellectual as a site where the Ukrainian identity would be explored and created. As post-Soviet Ukraine advanced in years, these writers, with their artist protagonists in tow, came to gradually inhabit the vacuum that had occupied the intellectual's niche in society during Soviet times. The difficulty and sometimes futility that their characters experienced as they began this learning process is reflective of the complexity and the tribulations that the Visimdesiatniki continue to have in establishing and filling the intellectual position in post-Soviet Ukraine. Boris Dubin writes that intellectuals are involved in creating symbols of individual and collective identity, and with arranging, refining, transmitting, and recreating them. Throughout these prose works, these intellectuals' protagonists are shown to be juggling and manipulating a whole catalog of components that contribute to Ukrainian identity. They have flipped through a storage bank of the traits that they acquired, both from the narratives of colonizers and from Ukrainian national myths. They have also introduced new aspects to this identity. These intellectuals have sampled elements of the West, accepting some of them while rejecting others. On the pages of their prose, the Visimdesiatniki have shown us how an intellectual protagonist combines symbols of Ukrainian identity, and how this process is reflected in the protagonist's own creative process within the novel. And it's through this riveting and varied literature that nuances of the post-Soviet Ukrainian identity become exposed. Present readers and students, like myself, several years ago, and for future writers. Thank you.